What's good, everybody? What's good? It's Big Game James. I'm back in the building. I got my dog, Mr. George Carmi, coming in for them Washington Commanders. I told him I got a lot of questions because that's my hated team. I'm gonna just keep it real. That's my hated squad. That's what it is. And guess what? And now I get to feel good right now. I get to feel good a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But my dog is on here. Let everybody know who you are, man.
What's good, man? Good to be here, Dave. I love you, James. George Carmi. I'm a host of the Full Press Commanders podcast. I write for fullpresscoverage.com. Me and James go way back. I want that cowboy smoke in the chat, man. Let's get it on. I'm here for you guys. What's up, Hawk? What's
Man.
up? What's good, everybody?
Make sure y'all give them the smoke because when they come in, I think they like you a lot, and they just be trying to be easy on.
Yeah,
them
they're all
Commanders.
pretty nice to me. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. Yeah, that's
they
cool.
be nice to you. Feel me?
Respect,
But when
I
you
like
know what I'm
it.
saying, when them Philly dude, when my dog Joe get up in here, they be going ham on Joe. You know what I'm saying? Because them Eagles, they talk a lot.
The Eagles do talk too. Yeah, they talk a whole
feel
bunch,
me?
man.
They talk
Yeah,
a
I feel
whole
you, man.
bunch. You feel me?
Yeah,
You been chill. You a chill Commanders, Washington Skins, wherever the hell it is.
I know,
Let's
man.
talk about it, dog. Let me just jump in right now because I already was looking at the schedule. Not talking about the last game of the year, but y'all have 4 games, bro. And I hadn't seen this a long time. Tell me, but 2 back-to-back games playing the same team. You have a tie, then you have a loss, then you come back and you have the straight games where you have the San Francisco and then this big loss with Carson Wentz. Oh my gosh!
I was there for that too, man. It was ugly. We talk about all that.
Yeah. Talk to me about this.
I mean, it's a complete fallout, man. I'm sure. I don't know if you guys are catching over in Dallas right now, or wherever you guys are at. It's like a funeral here in DC, man. We came in there about a month ago, sitting in the 6th seed. We had like a 70% chance of making the playoffs. Everything was looking good, man. All we had to do was win one of the 2 games against the Giants and sit there at a 60% chance of getting into the playoffs, and we just completely fell on our face. What ended up happening was for about 3 games, Taylor Heineke, Taylor Heineke has been on point. Early in the season, we were 5-1 with him. We were looking pretty solid. We were the hottest team in the league at one point. And then over a 3-week period, we were 0-2-1. We couldn't score more than 20 points per game. And Riverboat Ron, man, he rolled the dice and he missed, man. He basically was like, you know what? Carson Wentz, he could potentially put a spark in our team. We can potentially give that high upside. James, you and I talked about it earlier. James, I'm gonna pull up a tree from back in the day. I was like, we got a quarterback week 1. I was pretty hype about it. You're like, no, you don't.
I told you what he was, though.
He said, no, you did not. You said, no, you did not. You told me. You called it out. So you're right, man. So what ended up happening, man? So Carson Wentz, one of the ugliest games I've ever seen in my life. And, if you guys are following this whole chat, I'll put a little, I have a tweet that went viral. It was basically like, I sit row 10 right behind the end zone, screen pass. Carson Wentz couldn't even, it was an inaccurate pass right into the ground. So Carson Wentz imploded, over the past month, 2 years in a row, we basically are sitting there in playoff position. We end the year going winless. And realistically, man, we'll talk about the game here, but it's not looking good this week either. And it's saying, Riverboat Ron, man, there's blood in the water for him in DC, and people aren't really happy with him at all.
I mean, I would be very frustrated at that. First of all, that switch. I seen that and I was just like, and I had already told you, I'm not even come on here telling you. I told you so on this, but Carson Wentz, this was your last chance, in my opinion. I think we had talked about this to be a starting quarterback, and this was your last opportunity to be that. You showed once again, I think this is very ironic that when he was with the Colts, the same thing happened with him with the Colts, and he did the same damn thing again.
His career's over, dude. His career's over. I don't wish negative things on anybody. And actually, I met Carson Wentz.
It's not negative. It's just real.
He's good people, but at the same time, it's like, dude, 2 years
you probably just might really retire because you're not going to be a backup. Not to cut you off, George, but you're not going to be a backup. You're probably not going to accept that. So you might as well just retire.
100%, man. So basically, for 2 years in a row, 2 different franchises trusted you to get them into the playoffs over 2, man. The Colts, you let them down. Commanders, you let them down. We traded away 2 third-round picks for them. I actually put a poll up on Twitter. I got some pretty good traction on it, too. I basically asked the fans, I said, do you think Carson Wentz will ever take a snap as a starter in the NFL again? I got 920 votes on my Twitter feed. 90% said no. They don't think him as a starter anymore. And, people in the chat, I wonder how y'all feel too, but I don't think he's ever going to be a starter again, for real.
No, I like I said, when he left the Eagles, the way he left, I think the way he left the Eagles, that's what rung bells to me, because when, I'm going to go back to the beginning of his career just right quick, George, if I could. Just when because Dallas was looking at him too. Dallas was looking at him
I
with
didn't know
Dak
that. Okay.
Prescott. Yeah,
Okay.
Dallas was looking at him because they had them at the Senior Bowl, and Carson Wentz turned up. They were looking at Carson Wentz, not saying they were going to draft him, but they were looking because we needed a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Ezekiel Elliott thing changed, and we could go lower, and then that's when Dak Prescott kind of fell into it. And he had a pretty good bowl game too, but it was Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, and we on our side was saying, yeah, okay, Carson Wentz, we ain't saying he's sorry, but he ain't got what Dak got.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And eventually, y'all gonna see it. Oh no, Carson Wentz, Carson. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. And then
I want to talk to you about Dax on this show too. I don't know how you feel about that. Now we'll get there in a second, but real quick though, James, I want to give a shout out to my boy Yam. Yam's in Japan right now. Yam basically in Japan, really watching us right now. So good looks on that.
That's what's up. Oh, let me get that up. I'm getting that up.
Yeah, my boy Yam. He's always, it's the morning time for him right now. So good morning, Yam. Good to see you, bro.
Good morning, Yam. Shout out to you, dog. Out from Japan. You doing this live and watching this live in Japan? That's what's up. I'm feeling
that's
real
dope,
good.
Right? It's real cool.
That's super dope. I'm feeling real good about that. I'm gonna keep that up there probably for about 5 minutes, Yam. So
that's my boy. Yam's always in me out.
Yeah,
I'm a support, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep you in there. So let's keep it popping. So, like I said, the Carson Wentz thing happened. Did you, when that switch happened from Heineke to Carson Wentz, how did you feel about the switch? Did you agree with it? Were you like, no?
Man, for real, honestly, like I'll take the L on it. I thought it would be an upward swing. Like I like Heineke. The whole thing behind putting Carson Wentz into the offense, it wasn't that like he's gonna just throw the ball all over the place. If we're the NFC, we all watch each other, right? The Commanders over the past month, we were winning by running the ball. We had Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson. We're like, dude, 30 carries a game. We're like, if Carson Wentz can just hand the ball off 20, 30, just like the Colts formula, we're going to hand the ball off. We're going to run with Antonio Gibson, run with Brian Robinson, and occasionally throw the deep ball, right? Like, Carson Wentz play action deep, throw it out. And I don't know if y'all peeped it in Dallas land, man, but dude, third play of the game. First play of the game was the ball into the dirt. Second play was a run. Third play of the game was an interception. The entire stadium boo, just like crazy. Like the worst thing I've ever heard of my life. I was like, this is bad because Carson Wentz is known for being mentally fragile, right? And imagine 60,000 people, and they were like Heineke, they were yelling Heineke, it was over. And after you saw that, I was like, dude, like it's not. There's no, like, he's done, and he was done. His body language was done. He couldn't walk to the field. It was over. So. He's done. He's not coming back to DC. He has 2 more years. We're gonna let him go.
Right.
Hopefully,
nobody else is going. Who else is taking Carson Wentz, bro?
Around here, local sports talk, and we can talk about it on a national level. But local sports talk is like maybe Arizona because Kyler Murray's out. Might get him for the first couple of weeks. Maybe Houston while they get Bryce Young kind of like embedded in the system and stuff like that. It's like kind of like a piece. Yeah. But he's not. But Wentz isn't necessarily a mentor. He's not that kind of person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Like I said, I just feel like he just didn't go ahead and just retire. That's just my opinion. I don't feel like you need to play football anymore. You look like a smart guy. You could say I was Carson Wentz. I almost went to a Super Bowl, was a high draft pick, and now I do business now or something like that. That's cool. It's okay.
And we talked about it, heard about it on sports radio today. Over his career, 7-year career, $135 million guaranteed. So come on, dude. Like he's a country boy. Go back to North Dakota, go hunting, go enjoy yourself. Just enjoy it. Step away from it for a little bit. Cause I think, dude,
a lot of it, it's over.
Don't come back. Over, dude. It's tough, man. It's hard. So
I mean, like you just said, he likes to fishing. He's a mountain guy. He's
boy.
He's that guy. And I know you ain't dumb and spend all your money. You look like you saved your money. You feel me? So go ahead. Yeah. It's cool. You did your thing a little bit. You had your time, but to me, this ended it right here. To see that performance coming against the Browns, to have that performance, everything on the line, you trying to get the spark, and you throw that interception, and everybody instantly boos you because they already know what you are. We all know what you are now. They're just holding out. Nobody's even trying to hold out hope. They're just thinking that athletic ability. And that's the only thing a coaches is looking at. And that just goes to show that stuff don't always be working, okay? You can have the big arm, you can do all that stuff, but if you ain't got it upstairs and guys can't believe in you and guys can't follow you, it don't matter. And I feel like that's why Dak Prescott, we can talk about him. We can kind of segue to it. That's why I feel Dak Prescott is still disrespected, because you see what that guy has on the field, but you see what Dak Prescott now is saying, oh, he can't throw the ball. He can't do this. But, dog, he does have them intangibles, and that's why we are 12-4 again.
Before we do a hard pivot over to Dak Prescott, the last thing I want to say about Wentz, and for anyone, I see the New York media will eat him up and see that in the chats and all that kind of stuff. He completely lost his mobility. That's where he is. He just is completely immobile, and basically you have to have an ideal protection offensive line to protect him. And we don't have one in DC right now, so he just got eaten up. So Dak Prescott, man, 14, 15 picks on the year right now. So I mean,
but George,
I'm not a hater. You know how it is. I mean, I think it's a good quarterback for real. But so what's the deal? For one, I got to give you all credit. I got 4 games? Cooper Rush kind of led the team at the beginning of the year. So I mean, honestly, I think Kellen Moore's a great coach, and Dan Quinn's a good defensive coordinator as well. I don't think they'll be with the team next year, so we'll kind of talk about that today too, if you don't mind.
That's fine.
But yeah, dude. So Dak, man. So what's going on? Is it is it a regression? Is it just having a bad year?
It's not a regression. It's not a bad year or anything. Like I said, when we go back to the stats, we're still one of the top scoring teams in the league. We hit 40 points 4 times this year. They were all with Dak, not with Cooper Rush. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why people, like I said, I think a stat, it was on Twitter. It was my guy. I can't remember the name. I apologize, but he threw it out in the air. Like Matthew Stafford led the league in interceptions and they went to a Super Bowl and won it. There's been plenty of Super Bowl quarterbacks that had high interception rates and won. And here's the thing, like you said, they've already charted. We've already seen it. I've already checked it out. We've already just seen it again. Noah Brown, he's not a number 2, number 3. He's a number 4. He's been our number 3 because Gallup was our number 2 for a little bit. You feel me?
Yeah. Gallup's been a letdown, to be honest with you.
I mean, yes, it's been a disappointment, but I feel like they rushed him back from his ACL to prove a point. Oh, Gallup is going to be ready by week 4, so we want to show that out there. And it messed him up because you speeded him back. Gallup is not a speedy recovered injury guy. I've seen it in his whole career. He doesn't come back from injuries quickly. So when you rush in an ACL tear, I think that hurt him in the essence. But getting T.Y. Hilton does help. But
dude, when you're Hilton's a good ad.
It's a great ad.
It's funny. You kind of thought he didn't have any juice left, but he's been showing it over the past couple of weeks. He really has. And then I guess, not to get too crazy with it, but would you rather have Hilton or Beckham? I know Beckham was kind of on the talk of the town for a little bit too.
I mean right now,
Beckham's wild, but at the same time, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I'm gonna keep it real. Right now, I'm with T.Y. Hilton. I want to get him in that end zone. I want him to do his T.Y. Hilton end zone thing. That's what I need to see in the playoffs. T.Y. Hilton doing his T.Y. Hilton thing with the Cowboys. That's what I need to see. Yeah. You feel me? I need to see that on an opposing team too. That's why I'm ready to turn up. But yes, I think it's a better addition because it's less a distraction. Yes, you saw the courtship. You saw the going back and forth. You saw it's all in the media talking about day in and day out. If he got with the team, what do you think it's going to be? Day in and day out. And even though it not be a distraction, it would be, because now that media is going to talk about every day. Oh, what about this, Odell? What about that? You only had 2 catches. You only had this. You only had that. So I like that they pursued him for the fact that they were trying to get better.
Yeah, what I'm saying? That's good because it's visible that your owner wants to take it. They see the window and he wants to run through it, right? I think you and I talked about it during the offseason. I think you were telling me you were complaining that the Cowboys weren't being aggressive enough, right, during the offseason,
right?
So now they're pushing it a little bit. So that's good, yeah.
And see sense. That, and I gave the front office their props. You feel me? I'm gonna go ahead and see what I'm saying. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the front office is doing better than I thought they would, and I gave them their props. There's times when I get on them and say we ain't gonna do this, we ain't gonna never do that. But then when they make some moves and change the philosophy a little bit, I have to say, okay, I see something and I'm going to speak on it. So we went and got a defensive tackle and Jonathan Hankins to help us in the middle. He's supposed to be coming back for the playoffs. You had a courtship with Beckham. I don't care about I don't like the off-field stuff, but I'm like, you're trying to go after a weapon that can help this team. Now, even though you didn't get him, y'all still signed a T.Y. Hilton on the low. You feel me? I like that because T.Y. Hilton, he's 33 years old. Why are you hating? T.Y. Hilton ain't played all year. He can come in. He's going to come in fresh. He only played 2 games.
That's true. I mean, to be honest with you, I thought he was washed, honestly, but then now he's coming in fresh leg. I mean, he's a veteran. He knows how to run routes. He's one of the better route runners of his time when he was playing pretty well. So he's fine.
Who was T.Y. Hilton playing too, though? He was playing with Jacoby Brissett. What kind of quarterbacks was he playing with?
Yeah, I mean, he had Luck for a little while, but then what? Then it was Carson Wentz, and then he played Phillip Rivers too, right? But Phillip Rivers was kind of
They ain't
Get
had no.
warmed
They've been doing
up.
quarterback round table central over there in Indy. They ain't found. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just like Ty is a leader. He came in. He's already. I feel like he's grown that group. And a guy like CD Lamb, right, who's still young in the game, but he's turning up and going crazy. Now you blend a Ty Hilton, who's going to give you that veteran leadership. I've been there. I've done that. Let me show you the way. You already turning up. Let me show you how I can make you better. That's what a CD Lamb needs right now, George, because he don't have that. If he looks to his right, think about this. If he looks to his right, he has an injured Michael Gallup who's not turning up. He has a Noah Brown. He had a third-round draft pick in Jalen Tolbert who can't even see the field. And then you had a guy in James Washington, or I'm going to say it like my dog, Law Nation, James Washington. He don't even get on the field. He got one whole target, and they cut him.
Dang.
So who does CD Lamb look at?
I mean, for real though, like I don't know if you kind of are hitting at it, but like basically Ty in the wide receiver room can help him like look at the routes and look at coverages and kind of coach him up. It's like almost like a pseudo coach. Like he needs a mentor. Like CD Lamb has a talent to be a wide receiver one, but he also needs a fostering too. So I like that. It makes sense. It's good. It's a good look.
And now it's perfect for the playoffs because he can really show you some things. And then I think the team is kind of gelling. Now, talking about the interceptions, I didn't want to get off of that. 7 of those interceptions, I think 7, somebody said it in the chat as well.
I saw that,
came off the receivers. And if you really do look at it, I mean, and these were critical games where these guys are dropping the ball on Dak Prescott. So you got to look at that. And I don't have a problem Dak being aggressive. Did he do some bonehead interceptions? Yeah, but when I look at Dak Prescott's whole career, he ain't never did that. He's been very good with that interception rate. I think his interception rate in his whole career is still 1.9%. So it ain't no crazy percent. He don't throw a lot of interceptions. Dak has always been safe with the ball. So I don't have no problem trying to be a little aggressive because you know what? I seen Tony Romo throwing stupid interceptions all the damn time. So I don't know why people all of a sudden want to jump on Dak and getting all mad about Dak when we see interceptions go lower with Tony Romo at the worst times all the time. Especially I remember in the game with Washington, it was like 2011 or something like that when I was like, man, I'm done with Dallas. I'm done with Romo because he threw a stupid ass interception in the game to basically lose.
That was against us 2012, I think. Yeah, we won the division because of it.
And because of the division, that was for the thing. And he threw a stupid interception in that game, and basically that's what beat us. You know what I mean? We had the
Romo's his MO for a while was basically he couldn't close game. Like it was like, I remember there's a graphic. It was
that's
like,
what it was.
6 or 7 straight years. Like it was like during the when the game time was on line, when I was like you could win the division, when you could take over win in game, he would always lose. Tony Romo was known for that. So
I mean, so it's not like people need to chill on that. It's cool. I don't trip. My thing is, I feel like Dak is a strong leader. He has talent and he has good talent. But with that leadership and what he commands on that field, I think the team really just believes in him and he can will you to victory. He'll make the team play better. And I want that. I don't want a Carson Wentz who's going to, you might have good talent, but you ain't leading the team. And that's going to turn the team off. And then the team is not going to play for you. And if the team doesn't play for you, you're not going to win in these big games. It's not going to work. It never does. It doesn't work. Y'all got to play as a team all the way through.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, just honestly, from Dak, I think he's a likable person, man. Like, I don't like Zeke. I'm not gonna lie. I think Zeke's annoying as hell. Like, I think it's the most like Zeke's obnoxious. Zeke's obnoxious in my opinion. And we could talk about him too, but like Dak seems like a leader. Dak seems like he is, respectable, good in the community. He plays good enough. There, last year before, I think it was last year, 2 years ago, before he got hurt, it was like he was like the leading passer in terms of yards by like hundreds of yards by the time he went down. It took like weeks for the QB2 to overtake him in the passing yards. So he's a good player. Now his legacy is, can he actually make it happen in the playoffs? Right. Like he hasn't done that yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen the letdown, but I'll look at it like this, George. Y'all had an opportunity, now y'all are out. We have the situation where we can shut up a lot of critics. They're going to go into the playoffs saying the same thing about Dallas. When I listened to Richard Sherman when Dallas played against the Tennessee Titans, Dallas struggled, and I listened to Richard Sherman, and people get frustrated and yell at him and get mad at him, but to me, he's speaking the truth. Yeah, I've seen this before with Dallas. Yeah, I've seen them be good. They probably when 2014, we came in there and beat them when they had like 10 in a row. No, I mean, nobody had beat them in a long time at home. We came in and beat them in 2014, and people were like, hey, this is a different Dallas team. But we've seen this before time and time again, but they haven't got over the hump. So this don't impress me it does impress me that you're back-to-back playoffs with Mike McCarthy because we had a coach in Jason Garrett, and I ain't believing no Garrett. You had 10 years of off and on and inconsistency. Now
Do you
you
believe in
have.
McCarthy though? Do you
I
believe
do.
in
I
him?
do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, because I mean,
I
I know when you guys hired him, you weren't too keen
yeah.
on him, right? People didn't like him
No,
at all.
I
So
did.
are people
I
changing their
did.
mind now?
I
So
don't care what people saying.
what do people say though? I'm curious about that. What do they
I
think?
think I did a poll. I did a poll on my own channel, and I asked if Dallas lost early, like in the first round,
Mhm.
would
Yeah.
you want Mike McCarthy gone? A lot of people said they wanted McCarthy to stay. He's on a 5-year deal. He went to the playoffs 2 of his 3 years and double-digit win seasons. I feel like they are. I feel like we are going to win a playoff game. I feel like we are going to beat. If we get Tampa Bay, I feel like we're going to beat them.
You guys are gonna beat Tampa Bay. I think you guys beat Tampa Bay.
And I'm not even going to say we're beating them because they're going to struggle, because I feel like they're going to play good because everybody plays good against Dallas. But I don't care. It's not going to matter this time. I feel like the team may finally rise. I could be totally wrong, but I just feel in my heart they may do it this time.
If you guys get Tampa Bay's been up and down all year, and Tampa Bay hasn't been they haven't been consistent. I think you guys can knock them off, but at the same time, do you really want to play the GOAT? You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I don't
Okay.
care. I want all that smoke. I've been saying that, George. I want all the smoke. I'm not running from that smoke. I can't run from it because I'm not playing. But if I damn sure was playing, I would definitely be telling him I want all that smoke. I'm tired of hearing about this Tom Brady. He's 7-0 career against Dallas Cowboys, 5-0 with the Patriots, 2-0 with the Buccaneers. We had the year before in 2021, and I felt like we had that game. We play them this year. They blew us out. They really handled us. They were calling us out, saying that, we knew your plays, we knew what you were going to do. And this is what I said, George. Why wouldn't you, as an offensive coordinator, as a team? This team called you out and basically said, we knew what y'all was going to do, and y'all were no threat to us. That's what they said to you. And if you could play them again, go to their house with your team and Tom Brady, who's never lost to you, and go in there and beat them soundly. You don't, in my opinion, I feel like you're getting over a mental hump. It's going to take you to a better level. So when you play that next game, you're going to feel a lot more free, and you're not going to feel that pressure now because it was relieved because you got a dragon that you slayed finally out the way. Now, when whoever you play, let's say you playing Philly, I think we ain't worried about Philly because guess what? We dealt with Philly. We know we can beat Philly. He has a good record against Philly, so it's not like we going against Philly scared. If we go into Philly, Dak Prescott's not
Philly,
scared.
man. That's a rivalry right now, man. It's going on.
It's a rivalry to them. It's not no rivalry to us. My rivalry is with Washington. I don't
love
care.
that.
You know what I'm saying?
Man. I'm down, man.
It's never changing with no Philadelphia Eagles. I ain't never liked no Washington Redskins. Y'all the Commanders now, but I was in those young days, and I seen the Hogs, and we're gonna talk about that. I just seen that Washington. It was deep. Joe Theismann, John Riggins, Joe Washington, Art Monk. You feel me? I seen all that.
Gary Clark right behind me, man. That's what
you know what I mean.
Man.
I seen the fun bunch, so I really know what the history is about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But let's talk about your team as a whole and a player in specific.
Sure.
And that's Chase Young.
Yes, sir.
What's really going on with him?
He's on point, man. He's actually, I'm actually happy with him. Let's kind of break it down the whole way, right? So the way it went down with Chase Young is he tore his ACL. I think it was like week 6 or 7 last year. It was a pretty bad ACL tear. There's a meniscus tear there as well. They elected to do reconstructive surgery for him. He's 23. What happened with the surgery is they basically wanted to take a long-term perspective on a long-term view on it. And, I actually tore my ACL before too. I don't know if you've ever had it happen to you or if anyone in the chat's had it happen to them. So the way it works when you do a ACL reconstructive surgery, they have to replace it with muscle, right? So they either do a cadaver, which is a dead body, don't gross one out, or your own hamstring. But the newer methods nowadays is actually grafting from your patella tendon on your other side, right? So he hurt his right knee. They grafted muscle on his left knee to kind of fix his right knee up. So it's kind of like a double rehab, and it kind of really dragged it out. He was eligible to play again on October 31st. He was allowed to start playing again. But honestly, man, I don't want to put him out there, but, sports, that little yip and that, like, overcoming things, he basically was in his own head. He was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I'm ready to get back on the field. He basically was really cautious. He was very overly cautious, and he wasn't afraid to kind of let loose. And what ended up happening is it dragged out. It dragged out like almost on 1 more month after that. And he just started playing. He missed the second Eagles game, and the first game back was a 49ers game, believe it or not. But he ended up playing. He was supposed to play 10 to 15 reps during the 49ers game. He started playing well, so he left him in there 20, 30 reps. And then the starting defense end ahead of him is hurt now. It has concussion. So Chase Young has been playing almost, 80, 90% of the snaps now. And honestly, man, like we were kind of worried that he wouldn't necessarily is he going to be like really behind in regard to like his gameplay, but he looked pretty good out there. He was like during the 49ers, we had like one famous play where like there's two actually big plays in the 49ers game. One was he actually bull rushed Trent Williams, like pushed him back. I was like, all right, he's generating power. So he got that pass rush there. And then another play was Christian McCaffrey was kind of running a sweep, but like watching the offensive line, and Chase Young ran him down from behind. So like the athlete's there and the size is there, but next year is when he really gonna start shining again. Like he might get a sack or so. He's there. He's not someone to gloss over, but he's still rehabbing, coming back.
So basically you're still excited for him in the future with the team.
Yeah, I don't like. I've seen the chat over here. I think Jose said drafting Chase Young over Justin Herbert, one of the dumbest moves ever. It may be, man. Like it was tricky. Like, and I'll kind of touch on that too. Like for the Cowboy fans that don't follow the team so much, that's our owner. You guys have Jerry Jones, and he's your owner doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder overreaching, bro. So like, I don't know if y'all know the history, but Dwayne Haskins, God bless him, rest in peace. He basically went to a Potomac high school called Bullis around here, which is like 10 minutes away from my house. Bullis is where Dan Snyder's son went to school. So Dan Snyder watched Dwayne Haskins play high school ball, and he kind of rooted for him and kind of like he was a friend of his son's and so on and so forth. So what ended up happening is when he came in the draft, like our coaches were like, yo, Dwayne Haskins is like a third round talent. Like, he shouldn't be a first round pick. But Dan Snyder's like, draft him. So Dan Snyder basically drafted Dwayne Haskins. So we had him on our team. And then when Ron Rivera took over the job, it was like we had Dwayne Haskins on the bench. It's like, we had him like, first year, are we going to draft another quarterback like the next year? Or are we going to basically try to build around it? So, in retrospect, Justin Herbert would have been awesome, and that would have changed our whole franchise. But at the time, it didn't make any sense. So that's kind of where we're at.
I mean, that's kind of tough when you think about it, but I like Chase Young. He's a good player.
I agree.
Injuries, I mean, that's going to be tough, but he is a very good player. I mean, nobody can deny that. When you watch him play, you can tell he's a good player, especially when he stays healthy. He's a dominant player. If you get him in one-on-one situations, he's going to win. He's a very good player. So people who hate on Chase Young, maybe in the way he was kind of drafted, kind of bad. But if you're looking at Chase Young, you're saying Chase Young. Somebody said right here, Chase Young, Jay, but I kind of like, no, he's not. That's not him at all. That's not even that's not even a fair comparison, in my opinion. They're not even Chase Young is heads, shoulders above Javon Clowney, Javidon Clowney.
Just always remember Chase Young is 23. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like
Heads
he still has, he has so much
shoulders.
more, like he has so much more trajectory still. Like he could have, had a rough start to his year. But the same thing is, I'll be honest with you, man, like, we all got like comfortable with him not being here. Like, it was so long. We're like, oh,
Right.
maybe we trade him or, whatever. There's some talk about him being a bust around here a little bit too. But dude, I could feel past it sometimes. I'm on the field. I got to see Chase Young. He is a tower, dude. He's a physical specimen. It's like, if it actually clicks for him, he's going to dominate, man.
He's going to dominate.
He's going to dominate. So I think we're going to do a fifth year option for him. I think it's coming up this offseason. I think we're going to sign him. And I think, I think he'll be good next year. See how it goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you let him go, that would be the dumbest move ever.
That would be the dumbest move ever.
If you're talking about dumbest moves ever,
that
would be the dumbest move ever. If you let him walk, he will go somewhere else and just absolutely dominate. He's a different type of talent. I seen him at Ohio State. I'm out here in Ohio. I get to see Ohio State more than anybody else, and more I get to hear the radio, the talk shows, and all that. And he was on the level where they were talking about the Boza boys and those type of level. He was that type of guy, and he has that type of talent. So, let's see what happens. Let me give a shout out to my dog, Young Wilson, how he was coming with the $4.99 holla 2 times. donation. Yeah, let's go. We're trying to do our thing. But let's talk about these Commanders Cowboys matchup. You know what I mean? You got a quarterback. First they was going to do Carson Wentz. I mean, first they had Heineke car. Now they're going to this third round guy. Let's talk about that third round guy. Explain him to me.
Yeah, man. So basically, it's been up and down all year. So it's funny. So to put it out there, I don't know if you guys know, but Sam Howell is the only quarterback in Washington that's under contract for next year. Carson Wentz, Carson Wentz has a 2-year contract left. But we're not going to. Is $26 million on the cap. We're not going to pay him $26 million. So he's going to be released. Taylor Heineke is an undrafted free agent, so we don't know what we're going to do with him yet. And Sam Howell's a rookie, and he's getting paid what, $2 million, maybe, if that. It's a cheap quarterback option, right? For those of you that watch college football, he was potentially the number 1 pick last year, right? Like, 2 years ago. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, all these offensive talents started leaving him. And his junior year, he kind of had a regression because all the NFL talent left him. So he fell in the 5th round. Honestly, he had like a up and down kind of training camp. Like he has the physical tools. Like he throws in anticipation. He has some zip with the ball. He's actually pretty dense. It's funny. I might be like it's funny on the Cowboys show, but if you actually kind of follow some of his like pre-draft comps, they kind of refer to him as a Dak Prescott, kind of like that build, right? Like he does run the ball. He had 800 yards and 11 touchdowns his last year at UNC, so he's pretty mobile. But the fact of the matter is he has a lot of like physical talent, but he's not refined. Like his footwork is kind of poor, and UNC is more of a one read option kind of offense. It's like either a read option, one little throw, or you kind of some vert routes. So he's going to play. I think he's going to struggle, to be honest with you, because I think it's a lot of uphill. Like you follow football, dude. All the people in the chat follow football too.
Right.
When you're the 3rd string quarterback during the middle of the year, you barely get to get any reps because you're trying to prep that first team quarterback. Maybe the backup quarterback gets like 20 reps per practice to kind of get them warmed up. You're doing you might do scout team or something like that. Going into this game, he even said it. He's like, I've barely thrown the ball to Terry McLaurin. I've barely thrown the ball to Curtis Samuel. This is the real first week that I've done it before. So it's going to be wild. We're going to see how he actually does. I think we're really excited because this is where Washington's at big picture, right? It's like we want him to do well because if he does well, potentially could start next year for us. But if he doesn't do well, potentially we could draft in the 1st round, maybe trade up or something like that. Like we're QB hunting already, so that's kind of where we're at. So hopefully he shows something.
Well, we're gonna see. Let me get a few shout outs in the time. My dog 808. We got your man Yam from Japan, Jose One and Done Cowboys as they keep on coming through. Like I said, my dog Young Wilson. Shout out to my boy right here, Rev Wevel 95. Appreciate you. $5 holla. Keep up the great work, BGJ. I try. I try my hardest to try to do the thing. But how do you feel about this matchup? So you starting it, you say you think he might struggle a little bit. You got a little bit of a running game because Robinson's kind of been turned up. He's a big back that, in my opinion, he might give us problems because I'm still seeing our way. We have problems with the run game. But coming into this game, how do you feel like the team is going to be coached with Ron Rivera? Do you feel like y'all going to come all out? How do you feel like the approach is from your perspective?
I mean, I think y'all gonna. I mean, it's gonna be. If you look at the injury report, I think they're starting to pack it up already, James. It's the hard part, man. So like Brian Robinson, I think he's already listed as out. He's not going to play this week.
Yep.
Antonio Gibson's in a walking boot. He's on IR for the year. A couple of our starting offensive linemen are out. It's going to be like they're starting to pack up, and I think Washington is kind of like. We want to test Sam Howell out, but at the same time, if we lose, it's going to improve our draft position. I think that's what we're going with right now. But it's a running list of injured people. The only thing that's actually solid right now is our wide receiver. It's going to be Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and hopefully you guys kind of respect Jahan Dotson. He's been holding it down this year for us, so he'll be out there. Sam Howell will be out there. But it's going to be Jonathan Williams, who's like a journeyman running back. It's going to be our RB1. We're going to be missing, I think, at least one guard because basically we're going to start we have like a 7th round rookie. We're going to try out that guard, and it's going to be wild. Like it could get real ugly if Benjamin St. Juice and our safety Cam Curl. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure if you guys heard of them yet.
Yep.
They basically they're questionable for the week. But Jonathan Allen's out, who's one of our premier defensive tackles. Like a lot of our big guys are just kind of taking this extra week to kind of rest up and relax. So you get in our JV squad this week, so it's gonna be kind of wild.
That's
if you guys are playing for a playoff spot, it's actually good for you, y'all. So that's good.
I mean, we're gonna see. I've been saying I'm cool with being a road warrior. Dallas's record this year is 8-1 at home, and it's not the greatest on the road. I don't know what that exactly is on the road, but I know it was like 500 for a minute. But I want to be road warriors. I'm cool with being road warriors. I'm cool with going to Tampa Bay. I want that smoke. Like I said, I feel like in the playoffs we play better away because it's less the pressure. All the Jerry Jones is up there. I just feel like there's just a lot of stuff that just gets in the way. I feel like they can concentrate more on football when they're away from the noise, and they can just go ahead and play some good football. Maybe a lot of people are underestimating us. I know a lot of people are underestimating us because they think we're going to choke like here. So that's why I said, George, you have a golden opportunity, especially if your guys are sitting out. I don't care if they have the seed. If Philadelphia wins, we win. That's cool to have the seed. but that's going to make me feel better that when we play Philly, we beat them. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the year. And now we beaten, even though we struggled against the Titans, which I knew we would. I knew it was going to be that type of game. And this game, I feel like against Washington, now that you tell me all these guys sitting out, I don't feel like we're going to struggle against y'all because I felt like you guys might play it close. But now you telling me all these injuries, now I feel like we're going to blow you out because to me, it's more rivalry. Like when we play the Titans, that's not a rivalry to us. So maybe we play down a little bit. But this is
Yeah.
Washington. We're playing in Washington. We like shutting up the Washington fans and just the whole organization. So this could really be a real ugly game. But that's what we want because we want that type of confidence, especially if we still go in to play Tampa Bay. We mash y'all, just get y'all out the way, and then boom, that's more energy for us to go to the playoffs. Like, let's go.
Now I feel you, man. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm gonna kind of do my diligence and go to the game and kind of punch my clock. But it's gonna be wild, man. I know there's gonna be a lot of Cowboy fans, a lot of Cowboy fans in here in DC. People are selling tickets. It's not looking good. We're in rebuild mode. You got to think about where we're at, man. For about 1 month, we were sitting there in the 6th seed. It was almost assumed we were going to go to the playoffs, and a hard breaks. Boom, we've been hoarded down over the past month, and there you go. We're out of the playoffs now, so people are feeling down around here. So we'll see how it all checks out.
Well, let me give a shout out to my dog, John Jones. He been doing the thing. $10 holla. Hey, we appreciate the $10 holla. We appreciate y'all, what y'all do out there for the nation out there, especially Big Game James. Now, you was talking about, I want to talk about a player. You know who I'm going to bring up, Derek Forrest Jr. out there representing Walnut Ridge. I also got another kid coming out next year. His name is going to be Julius Wood. He also attended Walnut Ridge out here as well, and he's a safety as well. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He led the East Carolina Pirates in tackles this year, had a couple of interceptions, one return for a touchdown. So he's definitely looking to get drafted. We're definitely going to be pumping him up out there. But talk to me about Derek Forrest Jr. We're all excited about out here in Columbus, Ohio, and everything about what he's doing. Talk to me. Does he really have a bright future? He did a really good this season. Do you think he has a bright future in Washington?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So real quick, I want to give it a shout to my boy Yam. So Yam, I'm holding it down from Japan. He's seen a lot of MBD in the DMV. For those of you who don't know what that means, never been to Dallas in the DMV. There's a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans that never been there before, but they rep it hard out here for some reason or another.
That's crazy.
They're like the fake fans for something. Whatever, we get on them. So
yeah,
that.
for real.
So Derek Forrest, man, you and I go back and forth with him, and I've been talking to you all year. Dude, he really stepped it up, man. Shout out to Walnut Ridge, man. He basically, first game of the season, he had a major pass breakup. He had an interception the first game of the season, won the game for us. That was a coming out party for Derek Forrest. And then as the year went on, man, he basically has been a hard hitter. He basically has been laying people out. I think he has 4 turnovers on the year. I think he might even lead our defensive backs in interceptions. And I think I was really upset in the second round of this draft. I really wanted to get a strong safety because I didn't think we had one. And I really wanted Jaquan Brisker from Penn State, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I really wanted him.
Yep.
And we ended up getting a defensive tackle to kind of like potentially replace Deron Payne. And I was like, damn, I don't know if we're down with this, but like Forrest and Cameron Curl, our other safety, they've been working in tandem and doing a very, very good job, man. Like, honestly, like Derek Forrest, like, if he keeps playing like this, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another contract and he starts, becoming a centerpiece of our defense. He's not a problem at all. And I think he's starting to become people are starting to be, they're into him, man. They're basically trying to buy jerseys around it. Like, people are buying Derek Forrest jerseys, and he's like holding it down in DC. Like, he's becoming a fan favorite, and rightfully so. He's holding it down, man.
Hey, we definitely like that because you know what? We play a lot of safety roles with the Dan Quinn defense. You got 3 safeties in Donovan Wilson, J. Ron Curse. I'm slipping my other head. Who's my other safety right now? Popping my head. Somebody tell me in the chat. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Neil,
we got,
right? Neil?
No, Malik Hooker. So we got those.
Yeah.
We got 3 of those, and then we also play Mukamu. He's a second-year player. So and Marquise Bell. They play different safeties, and they play a 3 safety rotation, especially if they want to do that. In DC. You know what I mean? That quote unquote big nickel. So I definitely hope he continues to shine. I like how he played this year. Shout out to him, and we'll see what happens with Washington. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you take care of that question. $5 holler for my guy Rev Rebel, who's always donating. We definitely appreciate what you do. But go ahead and take that question right there, George. Do you think the future of the quarterback of the Commanders is in this year's draft or this offseason in free agency? And is Ron Rivera on the hot seat?
What's good, Rev? It's a great question, bro. Thank you for asking. So we'll see. I think to be honest with you, I'm pretty deep into this. I follow the team every single day. It's my favorite thing, right? So
Right.
I think the talk is Sam Howell is not ready. Like I think that's what
Right.
everyone's really saying. They're like, you know what? We like the physical tools. We're intrigued by him, but we don't necessarily want to pass the keys to him. Like that's what this week's all about. If he comes out and plays well, especially against a top 10 Cowboys defense, top 3 passing defense that you guys are at, I think you guys are up there like that too. It's just like we will have more confidence in him, but there's got to be someone else to kind of stay in that like QB room to basically support him and to kind of bring him up because we don't think he's ready to start all 17 next year. There is talk of basically, potentially moving up in the draft. Like, I don't know if you guys are keeping track, but if we lose, we could potentially get up all the way up to number 10 if basically people in front of us start dropping. Like, if the Browns win and other people go, we can go all the way up, right? But if we win, we'll go all the way down to 18, 19. So, like,
Oh yeah.
realistically, we're rooting, and we want to have a good game. We want to lose, honestly, right?
Right.
So basically, if we get up to 10, if it gets up to 10 or 11, like, Anthony Richardson from Florida is on the option, he's on the table. I guess Levis, I guess, another person that's up there as well. Like we could potentially start go QB chasing and kind of go after that. But it's weird, man. So the second part of your question was, is Ron Rivera on the hot seat? Hell yeah, he is. But the problem is the Commanders are for sale. Like I don't know if
Right.
I'll give you some some deep stuff, right? So Commanders on sale. They're basically there are rumors around here. Is like, are they going to sell the team outright, like 100%, or is it going to be partial sales? He's gone, right? Because I think
Right.
it's a bidding war right now. There's talk of Commanders selling for $7 billion, and basically, Jeff Bezos of Amazon is like the leading contender to buy the team. So considering that, like big picture, you can't even approve an owner until March 26th for the owners' meetings, right? And we all know this, right? We all watch football. The coaches, it's like day after Super Bowl, they're being hired, man. They're being like, Sean Payton, people are talking about him and Harbaugh and all those guys. They're going to be flying off the shelf. So Dan Snyder's not going to pay. Like the way it works in the NFL is if you fire somebody, you're paying them and then paying someone else. Is Dan Snyder really going to sell the team and then pay $14 million to Ron Rivera while he fires them and hires the new staff? It's not going to happen. So it's like Washington's kind of sitting like in a lame duck situation where it's like, we have to wait till March and we can't get a coaching staff at that point. So I think Ron Rivera is going to run it back, and that might not be like, I don't hate Ron Rivera. I just think he's kind of like dated and like he's like a culture guy, but he's not an X and O's kind of guy. He can bring the team together, but he's not going to scheme it up. So I don't necessarily like that. And then the final part, I know I'm kind of going off on it, but
No, go ahead, keep going.
But Taylor Heineke, right? So Taylor Heineke, he's a free agent. He has a cult following in DC that we call the Heineke Hive. Like people like love Heineke around here, and I like him. I think he's a good, serviceable QB too, and I think we should keep him in the locker room. The problem is, man, like he has a Tim Tebow effect. He's like a celebrity backup around here in DC, and it's like if like I told you, man, like play 3, Carson Wentz throws it pick, boo, the whole crowd's going crazy. They're rooting for Heineke, and it's like, is that a healthy thing for a rookie or any veteran that we get next year? So like, I don't know. It might be smart to have a fresh slate. So we'll see, man. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I think
they should keep
to get a rookie. You think so? Why do you say that? Like, I mean,
I like Heineke. I'm
Okay.
being real. I like Heineke. I just
I like him too,
he got some moxie. I know he's not really a starter, but he's a guy that you should always keep on your team because maybe your guy gets hurt. Maybe you need a guy that needs to rally the team and can come in and get everybody hyped for 3 or 4 games to wait your guy to come right back. That's the kind of quarterback I feel like you need, especially as a backup, especially if he accepts it and is cool with it. And if he's a cold hero and everybody's messing with him, he accepts it.
People love him. I don't know if he caught that shtick down in Ohio or in Dallas. Like basically, what he would do was like every time he beat a team, he would buy their Jordans in that color, and he kind of like he put it on his Instagram account. The Caps, Alexander Ovechkin here in DC, the Washington Capitals, like he's like chasing history, like the biggest NHL goal scorer. Like he's like smashing beers and drinking it on the crowd and stuff like that. People love him out here. And to answer your question, Rev, that's the $1 million question. The question that Rev is asking is someone going to pay Heineke? Like I have no idea. So. I don't know.
He's a backup.
He's getting paid $3 million now, which is nothing at all.
Right. He can get definitely a raise, but he's not no starter in the league. Not to me. He's a backup.
Yeah, so I dive into it. I'm a content creator. It's like Jacoby Brissett type of money, Baker Mayfield kind of money,
right.
What's his the Geno Smith kind of money, like $8-9 million, something like that. He'll get a little bump, and we'll see. I think I kind of had him like $10 million. Like I think it's going to kind
Yeah,
of boost up a little bit, but
that's
like,
cool.
are we going to pay $10 million for a backup? That's kind of the tricks. I mean, but then
Right.
again, the money is nuts in the NFL, man. It's going crazy every year. So who knows?
It's supposed to go up to like 220 million, I think,
Hmm.
next year. So they're going to get even more money. That these TV deals are getting bigger and bigger. NFL makes all kind of money. I feel like I said, if I was a team and I had a backup that could be a backup like a Heineken, I would definitely be cool
He's a high
because
floor guy.
yeah,
He'll get you 500 ball. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. As a backup, it's all you want. 500 ball.
Hmm.
So it's good.
So what do you kind of think about the draft anyway? You guys, let's say you guys get a high pick. You're coming like say as high as 10th. Who would you target or look at right now? What do you think are your top needs from the Commanders right now?
The biggest needs for Washington, the real biggest needs is offensive line, cornerback, linebacker, and quarterback, right? So linebacker, I think you can kind of wait, right? We drafted Jamin Davis a couple years ago in the first round. Unless there's someone that's really high end, you can kind of get him later on. The biggest need for our team is offensive line. We couldn't even do anything this year because our offensive line was so bad. But like, if there isn't a premier tackle that's there, like you can get a guard in the second or third round, in my opinion. That kind of wait on that. I think a cornerback would be great because I just think that like if you got a top 10 pick and you got a top 10 cornerback like a CB1 dog, like that's pretty solid, man. I wouldn't mind having him on our team. Like I like Tracy Porter Jr. from Penn State. I can get him more in the teens, but he's 6'2", runs a 4.3, and kind of a big corner. I wouldn't mind having him. And then finally, man, like if there's a quarterback that's floating around, I mean, I haven't done my deep like draft profiles yet, but like I'm down for a quarterback. I'm open and like I don't know about Stroud and Ohio State. All those Ohio State quarterbacks I'm not too keen on, but like Bryce Young's he has that awesome poise.
Justin Fields ain't too bad. You ain't getting no damn Bryce Young.
I know I'm saying I know I'm saying Bryce Young. I like his like poise, what I'm trying to get at. And Anthony Richardson from Florida. I like the whole like his
You
physical
really want
talent.
that though? Yeah, we
He's
know.
wild though.
You
He's
just
a Malik.
said we don't want to do that physical talent. I want leaders. Is he a leader?
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I
I'm just
do my
saying,
draft
though. That's
research.
I don't want to do that.
I want an
See,
athlete at quarterback. I see Dak, but to
Dak
more.
ain't super athletic like
But I was
that,
gonna
though.
say I'm gonna get mad at the Cowboy fans. I see Jalen Hurts. I see those people that are running around.
Right,
I
but you
like
also
that,
see
man.
dudes getting hit too. See
Yeah,
injuries.
yeah.
Feel
And
me?
a funny one. We'll see. This is pipe dream, but there's a quarterback about like 45 miles, 30, 45 minutes up I-95 in Baltimore. Man, it's a potentially. People are saying he might be let loose.
Mm.
Lamar, get him in DC. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna go franchise tag him, but like.
Yeah, they gonna tag him. He damn sure ain't gonna let them
He
go
ain't
to
going.
no Washington.
But I'm saying if they tag him and they're like, 2 first round picks and you
Y'all
basically
might do
whatever,
that.
dude, we would definitely
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
hesitate to do
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Y'all
So
definitely
whatever,
would
yeah.
do that. Yeah, y'all.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, let's keep that in the mix. So now that you done told me that, I'm already saying, yeah, y'all might be in the mix because y'all definitely would give up 2 first rounders
No
for
question, dude.
Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson because
100%.
y'all would want all that smoke to kind of he would be the lift because he would sell y'all tickets, especially if
And
new ownership.
let's say this is not going to happen, but a dream scenario. Jeff, I don't know if you all know this or not. Jeff Bezos, he's a leader to basically get the Commanders. He's Amazon. He's a fourth richest guy in the entire world. Like, I'm mean, funny, fourth richest in the entire world.
Uh-huh.
He wants to buy the team, and if he wants to buy the team, no one's going to outbid him.
Nope.
Part of his ownership group is Jay-Z. I don't know if you guys caught that yet either.
Hell no.
So it's like if we get Jeff Bezos, the fourth richest guy in the world, you got Jay-Z, who's like the entertainment person, who's like, kind of looking at all the entertainment, the sales and stuff like that. And you bring Lamar over to DC. Crazy. I mean, that's not going to happen, but like, dude, that's the 1, 2, 3 home run. That's perfect right there. That actually works out.
I mean,
But,
you never know in the
see.
NFL no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit there and say it's not going to happen. It will happen because I've seen things that we wouldn't think will happen do happen. And if a team it gets aggressive enough or say we want this, I've seen teams say we don't care. I've seen Deshaun Watson get that first guaranteed contract, dog. Like we seen it. So
and James,
we know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say over the past couple of years, it was like, what Deshaun Watson's not going anywhere. Russell Wilson's not going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers, man, it's starting to happen, man. Things are starting to move. So you never know. Like for me, I know, I'm in DC. Baltimore is like 30 minutes from here. Like, I see the impact he has. Like, he
Mm-hmm.
in the community, people love
Mm-hmm.
him in Baltimore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it will be devastating if he left, but you can never say never. So, like, and
Yep.
I know Washington will throw everything at him if he does become available. So that'd be
I,
interesting.
I truly believe that as well. So that's why I'm gonna keep everything open. Teams are willing to give up things and to try to feel like a player can make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
as we get ready to close here, I really appreciate you jumping on here, big dog. You know, talking
Of
about the
course, bro.
Commanders. So we feeling like Cowboys gonna stomp y'all. I like saying that Cowboys gonna stop y'all. Y'all kind of taking it off. We like that, and especially coming into Washington. But let's talk about this pig thing, man. I'm not letting you go out talking about this pig. The Washington
Uh,
Commanders, bro. The Washington Commanders. Your mascot is a pig.
so I want to hear y'all in the chat. Give me some feedback in the chat. I've
Tell me,
seen it
talk to me in the
before.
chat. Talk to me in the chat because
Blow it
I
up in the
heard it.
chat. I
I
want to see
heard.
all this. I
I
mean, it's
like.
all
I
good.
heard.
I'll
Like,
take this smoke. You're not gonna
please,
hurt
y'all
my
give.
feelings.
Yes,
I'm a tough
yes,
guy.
yes.
I'm a
Please
content creator. I got
give
this.
him. Yes, give
Give
him
me
the
the hell.
smoke.
But it's like,
What the hell? Y'all have a
man,
pig?
so you know how it is, right? So basically, you know the history, the Hogs, right?
Yeah.
The
But that
1980s,
should
early
never be a
90s,
mascot.
the offensive line. They basically, so for people that don't know, let me educate you, right? We basically have 5 people, 5 offensive linemen, a tight end, and an awesome running back, John Riggins. They were basically the Hogs. They basically were like known for being nasty and running you in the ground and not afraid to get dirty and stuff like that. So they were the Hogs, right? And that was our nickname. And basically, they had a fan vote. They were like, which route should we go with this? It started off from like very broad and kind of narrowed down. And it was like, at first it was like, do you want a superhero? Do you want a dog? Do you want a hog? And do you want all these other things? It got down to dog and hog were the top two, believe it or not. And basically, like one of them was like a German Shepherd. Imagine like a commander in the army with a German Shepherd right next to you, or the hog because they're trying to like adhere to like the older fan base. Because like this big picture, our fan base is splintered right now because it's like we have like the new generations. Like, I grew up in the past 20 years. Washington sucked, man. To be honest, Washington hasn't been great for 20 years. So it's like, let's try to have a new era. But there's some people that are like, I remember the 1980s and 1970s. I want to maintain that tradition. So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
Frankenstein kind of product right now. It's like we had that new Commanders, but like let's do the whole hog things in the back. And it's like I knew it. I knew I've seen Miss Piggy in the chat and all this
I
stuff over
mean,
here. Emma
yeah, because
laughing my ass off with Maddie. I seen all this stuff over here. I feel you. Like I'm with you. And like I guess the intention is to kind of like get kids involved and stuff like that. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but it's like I don't know, man. It's like
no, it doesn't.
I
No,
want it. I want
I'm
that
glad y'all did it.
intimidation factor.
Right.
I don't want
Ain't
to be
nobody.
cute. You know what I'm
I'm
saying? Yeah.
laughing at it and the way the pig looks. I mean, come on, dog. Like
And a
I
big
heard
old belly.
somebody say in the chat who gave me my boy Rev said Washington Warhogs. Now, if you had like a hog, like with the snout and just look more
Yeah, like
aggressive.
nasty as hell. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Arkansas
Then
Razorback and stuff
yeah,
like
like
that.
the
Yeah, that kind of
Razorback
stuff.
type hog. Then because them motherfuckers is aggressive.
Crispy
So yeah,
bacon.
you know what I mean? So that's cool. But dog, my thing is this. I seen them. I seen the Hogs. I seen the offensive line. I watched John Riggins. I watched that. But that should never be a mascot. That should just keep it what it is for the fans. The fans should be able to say, the pigs with a hog, but not should be the mascot as a piggy.
So let me catch all this stuff in the chat. Dude, chat. I want to hear honest feedback for real. So like, dude, I got some pretty good access with my coverage, right? So I got to go to this branding event. Jason Wright's our president, and he was talking about why they picked the Commanders and why they made our jerseys and all that stuff. And he was like, there's like a segment of the famous that wanted to be named the Hogs or like Red Hogs. They wanted to go that route. But when they actually rolled it out and they pulled people, like it pulled very poorly with women. Like do women want to wear pigs on their outfits and pigs on their shirts? Like it's not a good look, and women didn't necessarily like it. So like that's where it came down to. And there's so many like weird things, like you got a big old hog, and there's some nasty innuendos you could do and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. So it's wild. I mean, that's the word I'm living with, man. So that's what's going on right now.
So they wanted to be more innocent. That was too aggressive for the ladies, huh?
Yeah, it's too aggressive for the ladies, I guess, right?
Too
I don't
aggressive.
know, man.
So they had to go with the piggy. That's what's up. I love it. I'm
They're
glad y'all
trying to be
some pig.
cute, I guess, man.
I
So I don't
mean,
know.
but let's talk about a serious subject because I ain't gonna lie, this frustrated me. Now, the Dallas Mavericks just unveiled a statue with Dirk Nowitzki, and that was the real statue. They got him back in his trademark fade away with the one leg
Yeah, it
up.
was
We all
gorgeous.
know.
They had the Nike shoes on him too, the
Right,
authentic, whatever,
right,
the hyper dunks or whatever that this
right.
actual shoe that I was wearing. It was awesome.
That's
Yeah,
what you're supposed to do. Somebody who played
yeah.
with your squad and did that. And I'm gonna tell you what, I was very disappointed in Daniel Snyder with that Sean Taylor thing. Like,
I
and
was there, man. I was there for the
yeah,
unveiling. I
I
have
want you to
video of it
talk,
and
I
all
want
that.
you to talk to me about that. Just your own opinions, whatever it is. Now, I'm not gonna whatever, but just from my perspective, Sean Taylor meant a lot to me. I didn't know him, but I don't care. It just
Dude,
everybody felt like you know him.
so like, well, my mic's going out. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, you got my mic. So this hoodie, right? I guess like the Sean Taylor, like the memorial hoodie. I was actually at the event, and I got the hoodie right on right now, and like it was a cool event. I'm not gonna lie. I went in there, and it was vibes, man. Like they had a
Mhm,
Taylor store, and they
mhm,
basically were selling all of these 21 stuff. I have all this gear. He's my favorite player of all time. I love Sean Taylor. That's my boy.
mhm,
It was cool. I walked in there, like Clinton Portis is walking around, Ryan Clark's walking around, a whole bunch of guys,
mhm,
you walking around.
mhm.
It was a good vibe, and I was like,
Okay.
everyone was ready for it. The crowd was pumped up. It was all good. You go to like this, like they have the concourse, right? You basically walk around the main concourse, and one of the end zones is section 133, and like they
Mhm,
call it Legends Plaza. So like you walk out, and that's where they play the band before the game. It's like cool vibe, like $5 beers. It's all that. It's real cool now. I actually like it a lot. But like right in front of there, they basically have the Sean Taylor Memorial, and like they had a cover with a red tarp, and they had all these different TVs and around it, and the TVs are still there, which is pretty cool. But you walked in, and they like they were talking all week. They were like they were calling it the installation. But like the fan base was like, I can't wait to see the statue. And then, like, I guess there's a misunderstanding in my mind. I thought it was gonna be straight bronze, like dope. I don't want cussing here the show.
no,
Dope,
thoughts on it.
dope ass statue. Like I go to Baltimore, they have that Ray Lewis where he's kicking up and doing the whole thing.
Right,
It's
right.
sick, dude. It's awesome. So I thought we are gonna have an awesome Sean Taylor statue, but then you go in there and they have the jersey, they got the helmet, whatever, but like it's on like a little wire rack, and like, it looks kind of like people saying it looks like a Bloomingdale's, like like display. It wasn't, the actual podium is dope. It's actually like a cool little like hologram, and they shoot up, and there's lights, and there's like, and it's actually really cool. Like around there's like TV screens, and what they did is they actually went around the DMV, like DC, Maryland, Virginia, and interviewed people, and it's like them talking about Sean Taylor and what they meant to them. So that's cool, but the actual like statue, that's lame, man. It's whack. They messed up on that. Like you own a $7 billion franchise, man. Drop a lot of money on a statue, especially someone that's that important. Like he's the one, man, and like and I don't know. It's like I guess the one thing they're saying is that like they wanted to keep it kind of light because they're going to move stadiums pretty soon and make a better statue later on. But like every time they try to honor him, they always drop the ball. Like I don't know if you caught it early. I always
Yeah,
will,
yeah.
like they basically have a Sean Taylor Road now around the stadium.
Mhm,
And basically, like they took a picture of Sean Taylor Road, and it was like him and like, it was his dad and his family, his and daughters. I took a picture of it, but like porter potties were like behind the actual sign, so it was like it wasn't good optics and stuff like that. It's like they're always a step behind. They wanted it. They have good intentions, but it's like the people that are making the decisions are businessmen, but they're not like Washington D.C. fans. You know what I'm saying? They're more like marketers and stuff like that. They're missing something every single time. So that's what it comes down to. So
yeah,
it's fine.
that's very frustrating, man, because just like you said, I mean, you can't have all that Clinton Portis and all those guys,
Yeah,
and you have that because, I mean, nobody's looking at that's personable. Like Sean Taylor was personable to us. I mean, he was to me. I don't care about no Washington, nothing. Sean Taylor was just like a personal player. I loved him. Like I didn't care about he played with Washington. I was like, he is a dog. Like
dude. Yeah,
he was just a different player. He was different. Like everybody remembers Sean Taylor, dog. Like there ain't nobody who ever watched football don't know about Sean Taylor. And I don't know nobody. He was a different player, even to this day. To this day,
dude, he's
he's still different.
6'3", 240 pound
I
safety that
watched
could
him
run
since
around like
high
run a
school.
4.3. He could play any position he wanted to, man. He had to play free
Any.
safety. He was
He
awesome,
was
dude.
different.
He was different, man. He was. I wore 21 in high school because of that guy, man.
He was
I
different.
love him, my favorite player of all time. And it's
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna
and I
say
think
he's my top five players of all time.
he's all, dude, I love him, man. So like, it's like you can respect, I respect Lawrence Taylor. Like I'm a Commanders fan, but dude, you have to respect people that do it. Like Sean Taylor could do it, man. He was that dude, and like it hurts because like there's different waves of people that you follow, right? Like the older generation, John Riggins and Gary Clark and all that.
Mhm.
I'm kind of in the middle. Like that's kind of like I was too young for that. I remember it though,
Right.
but like
Right.
Sean Taylor's my dude. Like Sean Taylor was
Right.
was my guy, and like they're letting us down with him, man. So that's where it's at.
Oh, I hope that, they can do better. And just like you said, they got to get some personable people. That corporate stuff gets in the way and it
Yeah,
messes
they're
things
trying to.
up. And in my opinion, if you're Daniel Snyder and you already got the fire on your ass from this NFL and everybody's investigating you, this is where you don't drop the ball. This is where you try to get some people on your team and say, hey, I got a lot of money. So I'm going to put this bronze with a cane with all that hype in the event that was around it. Like you said, if they would have dropped a real statue where it really felt like Sean Taylor was right there, they would have been playing that around the world, dog.
And shameless plug, man. So whatever.
Go
I
ahead.
love talking to you. My YouTube channel is Full Press Commanders. Like Full Press
Mhm.
Coverage is my company. Full Press Commanders is my brand. Definitely subscribe to it. You can see the Sean Taylor video that I'm talking about. All these different, like I put film up every single week. So go take a look at it. Like it was a big. It was like hundreds of people sitting around this statue, and they're pumped for it. And I was like, I have it. It was like 3, 2, 1. Like they dropped the actual tarp, and everyone was like, oh, it took a step back. I was like, it caught people off guard. It was wild. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, like I said, I hope they can do better because it's going to happen. So if let's say they get the new ownership, like you said, if they get the new ownership, he has all this money. You don't think he'll make a splash with a different culture? You think he'll roll Ron Rivera one more time if it goes to a different ownership?
It's gonna be wild, man. So it's uncharted territory for a lot of us, right? So Dan Snyder's owned the team since 1999, so we haven't really seen a new owner before. The talk around town, if you actually listen to the beat guys, you're like, in March, let's say it gets approved, like he may, Jeff Bezos money $4 million or whatever is nothing to Jeff Bezos. Why not fire
Mhm.
Ron Rivera, make a big splash? But like, would it be smart for an owner to kind of fire everybody off the break, or do you want to like at least have 1 year to kind of get your feet under you and have some stability? Because Ron Rivera isn't horrible. He just isn't like elite. He's a guy that can get you 500 ball, and he can be a centerpiece for you. So it might be a good stepping stone to kind of like just get on his feet. It might be interesting to have that big splash. We'll see. And I don't know what league rules are. Like, I don't know if it's like, let's say Bezos is going to buy the team. I don't think Sean Payton's coming to us, but let's say like Sean Payton, for instance, right? Like, could you have like a handshake deal where it's like, yo, I'm going to get the deal, hold out for me, and then in March I'll hire you? Like, does that happen in the NFL? I have no idea. I've never seen it before. But then me being the kind of thinker that I am is like, yo, if you have a job where like, hey, I'm the Denver Broncos, I'm gonna pay you right now. Here's the actual like ink on the paper. Like, are you gonna be like, no, wait, he told me in March he's gonna pay for me? You're not gonna.
Right.
No one's smart. No one's gonna do that. Like, because you never know. You know how people go. They're gonna fake on the
Mhm.
deal, and you get screwed out of a job. So why don't the best coaches take the best jobs instantly? So I just don't think it's gonna work. So I see what Pat's saying. Like, Rivera's gone, but I think like the in a normal year he'd be gone. I think because of all the mess going on, he might stick around for 1 more year.
Yeah, we'll see. I always hate that lame duck status, you know what I'm saying? But I get it, but I just kind of hate it. But I see your reasoning if they do go with the new ownership. Do you think a Daniel Snyder goes after the NFL?
He's a very like vindicative bad person. Like I'm not trying to like. I'll be real with you, man. Like it's funny. Like I do like coverage and content and stuff like that. Like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I talk smack about Dan Snyder, but I'm always afraid. Like, dude, he's. I've heard things where he basically sues newspapers and stuff like that. Like he does stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back at the NFL. But like I think realistically, like I don't know if everyone knows this, but like he had to take a debt waiver to kind of so the reason we lost the Commanders is because everyone the social pressure for Redskins and all that kind of stuff. So his minority owners who own 40% of the team, they basically tried to sell they were like trying to sell to their own people. And Dan's like, I don't want that to happen. Like I don't want to have like a weird dynamic in my boardroom. So he asked the NFL for a debt waiver of 40%. So he owes the NFL like 280 like billions of dollars. He has a lot of money, right? So like I think what's going to happen is the NFL is going to be like, yo, get the hell out of here. We're going to sign an NDA. Thank you. You're not going to go to jail. Just leave, and just kind of go that direction. And then I think I think it's going to do NDA.
Just go away.
Is go away. And like most recently in the Washington Post, there was like people like the Washington Post is very investigative journalism. They found paperwork of Dan Snyder, and like they said like what he like they found it the residence that he's recording as his primary residence is in England now. So it's like, damn, is he going to basically like I mean, if I was him, like he's hated around here. Like take $7 billion, Go to Europe. They're not going to know who the hell you are. Go get on a yacht and enjoy yourself and live the rest of your life. Or why not, right? So I think that might be the look that he's going. So we'll see.
That's going to be very interesting. I'm interested to see how this
That's our
all
Super
pans
Bowl.
out.
That's our Super Bowl, dude. For like you guys want this. You want Week 18. We want Dan Slater
That's
gone.
then that's what's
Yeah.
crazy because Jerry
Yeah.
ain't never leaving. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
even
yeah,
if
yeah.
he go, and whenever he does go, Steven's taking over,
Yeah,
and they done already said ain't nobody. We ain't never giving up to Dallas Cowboys. They've already clearly stated it. We are
That's
never
a
ever
brand.
giving up
It's a
to
Jones
Cowboys.
brand. It's gonna be there for
That's
the
the
rest of your
Jones
life.
brand. They are.
Yeah,
That's why I don't talk about that no more. You feel me, George? Like I
yeah.
don't even bring that up any longer. I don't sit there and say, "Oh, we need a new owner." Bro, I gave that up like 10, 15 years ago. This is Jerry's team. They ain't never giving it up. And once you get into content creating and actual start, meeting the newspaper guys and meeting the guys in media, meeting the players and talking to them and being in the streets, you're like, you start getting a different ear. Like, no, these guys ain't giving up this organization. So you just better just stop talking about coaches and things.
And real talk. I know we're trying to wrap it up pretty soon, but like for real, like Jerry Jones, I'm an objective person. You know that. Like I think Jerry Jones is the ideal owner, right? Am I wrong about that? Like
I
he
mean,
writes
I
the
don't.
damn checks. I mean, he's not
Only
afraid
thing
to
I
win.
hate,
Yeah.
the only thing I hate about, I'm not gonna say hate. The only thing that bothers me is because he just talks a little too much. I mean, I just feel like you're 80, you're the general manager. I feel like you have too much input into coaching with the plays and okay, this player is playing this week, and then I hear Mike McCarthy, well, we'll see. I just feel like he usurps the coaches.
Okay.
And when you're a player, I feel like, yeah, I like Mike McCarthy, but if I feel like I can go to Jerry over you, don't you think I will? You know what I'm saying?
That's how Dan was. Like he might not. Dan's like removed now, but like Clinton Portis, it's famous.
That's
Like
what I'm saying.
RG3 and Clinton Portis, there used to be like I'm gonna go like Mike Shanahan hated RG3 because
And
basically
he go
RG3 would be like,
above
I'm
him.
gonna go to Dan and I'm gonna talk to him instead. Like I don't like the famous thing around DC was RG3 was a scrambling quarterback. RG3 went to Dan and was like, I don't want to be a running quarterback anymore. Like he's like, I'm Aaron Rodgers. He actually said, I'm Aaron Rodgers. I'm Peyton Manning. I can do that. And basically Dan was like, Mike, stop running RG3. And RG3 doesn't have he didn't have the skills to do that. And that's why he's out of the league right now.
And like I said, that's the problem. And that's the
Yeah.
only problem I have with them. And then with Stephen Jones, I mean, he does penny pinch, but here's my thing. When I've angled this in different ways, George, because yes, he holds on to that, but Dallas is still winning with that method. They were 12-5 last year. They're 12-4 this year. Could be 13-4. So that method is not wrong in theory to build through the draft, sign your own, and don't spend all kind of money on crazy free agents. Don't overpay for them because it can put you back in the way. There's nothing wrong with that theory. It's just like I said, nothing wrong with going after maybe one player that can get you over the hump. You don't have to go over to 5 or 4. You can get that one guy that you might have a really good team, but you just bring in this one player and he just takes you to another level. And that's why I said don't be cheap on that aspect. And if he would do that, I don't trip on him from that point because, like I said, I like you being able to keep your team young. That's the optimal level. You want to keep your team young.
100%.
And Dallas is playing a lot of rookies and young players. That it's a young man's league. And if you can play more young players without big contracts, it's better for your team, especially, George, if you can win. And if you can win with young players and ain't paying a lot on your payroll, that's better for you in the long run. I'm not mad at that. But sometimes you got to step out of that box and make that one splash to maybe get your team over the hump. So we'll see what happens with the team this year because, like I said, I feel like it's an optimal opportunity, George, for the Cowboys to silence a lot of critics, slay dragons. Aaron Rodgers is 8-2 against Dallas. Tom Brady is 7-0. They basically both own Dallas Cowboys. Now, I'm gonna go back and say Aaron Rodgers didn't beat Dallas. It was 28-14 in the fourth quarter. Dallas beat us because Aaron Rodgers didn't make this miraculous comeback. They ran the ball on us. They had a lot of rushing yards on us. So it wasn't no Aaron Rodgers killing us. It was Dallas making dumb plays in opportune times, getting in their own way, and we lose. Just like in the Jacksonville game, in my opinion, we got in our own way. If we don't get in our own way and coach the right way, Mike McCarthy, I feel like you've been in this situation. You coached Aaron Rodgers, you won a Super Bowl. You've been there and done that. That's why Dallas brought you over here. You need to show that coaching elite because you're doing it in the regular season. You feel me? But you got to show what you showed in the playoffs. That's why they brought you over here. They didn't bring you over here just to win regular season games. They brought you over here to win playoff games and try to win a Super Bowl here. So that's what you have to show when you was over in Green Bay. Kellen Moore, I don't hate on Kellen Moore like a lot of people do in Dallas. You know what I'm
Why do
saying?
they hate us? So I guess real quick, I know we're starting to wind down.
No, we're
My
cool.
three okay, whatever. So my three questions for you then is like, all right, Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, Ezekiel Elliott, are any of them coming back or any of them leaving?
Ezekiel Elliott, I do think he's coming back.
Okay.
Demarcus Ware, I'm sorry, Demarcus Lawrence
Yeah, I'll
signed
hear some of those too. If you have any other big ones are leaving or not, let me know. I'm curious about that.
oh
Who's
yeah,
leaving? If anyone's leaving, I don't know. I'm just curious.
yeah, Demarcus Lawrence, he signed a 3-year deal with us this past with Dallas this year,
Yeah.
and it was a type of deal where he gave like up $10 million of a signing bonus, I believe, to kind of help the team sign some other people. And the way he did the deal, I believe it was like 3 years guaranteed,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of like a straight up flat deal, 3 years guaranteed. You stay with Dallas, you give up this money, you stay with Dallas. I think they're going to do Ezekiel Elliott the same way. 27 years old. He's still, I mean, he's
Pollard's a
800.
free agent too, right?
Yeah, Pollard is a free agent. I
That's
don't
what I
believe
thought.
Pollard comes back, in my opinion. Um,
Wow. That'd be a loss
because
for y'all, man. I'll keep Pollard over Zeke, in my opinion.
I
Zeke gets touchdowns. Zeke's like a short yardage back now, in my opinion. I
yeah,
don't know if you agree with that.
I
I
mean
think
Zeke is gonna get yards. He has like 868 yards. I think he's
does he? Okay,
almost
because
to
every time I see him, it's always like red zone touchdown. Like he's like
he's got
70
12
yards.
touchdowns.
I know, as I'm saying, he's a like I'm a big fantasy guy. So I'll be watching him. He'll be like he'll get you like 60 yards touchdown, 50 yards. Like it's always like a touchdown almost every single week. He'll get you one. But I didn't think he was a heavy yardage kind of guy though. I
No,
guess
he's not the heavy hitter, and that's why I like having Pollard. But people are like, they're gonna franchise Tony Pollard. I don't know if they're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be an issue because if you're franchising Tony Pollard, it's gonna mess him up, in my opinion, because he's a running back. Running back, you're sharing carries with Ezekiel Elliott, and you still got Malik Davis, that was our undrafted rookie, who is not a Tony Pollard by any means, but he's a good. If you let a Tony Pollard go, if he does well, because he commands money, because somebody's gonna try to sign him. He's played himself into money. He's almost going to get 1,000 yards. I think they're going to let him start the game, or at least play his few snaps so he can get his 1,000 yards.
yeah,
He's
he's like
going to be a
12
hot
yards away or
commodity.
something like that, right?
Yeah, he's like
He's pretty
12
close.
yards away.
I
You know what I'm
thought, yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I think he's definitely going to command a nice contract, because you see these teams
He
now.
deserves it too. He's a good player, man. He's the for me, like CeeDee Lamb obviously is a good player, but it's like for me, it's like
He's
him
our
and
most
Pollard.
explosive
Yeah,
player.
yeah, I think so
Tony
too. I
Pollard
agree.
is.
That's what I see. Yeah.
And that's why we need him in the playoffs. And if he can really shine in the playoffs, he's really going to make some money. Like if he turns up in the playoffs, he's got a nice contract, because you could see him with like a Miami, even like a Jacksonville, like those
Miami would
type
be a
of
great fit for that,
great fit. Great fit.
explosive
You got
offense. Would be
those
great.
receivers, and you got a Tony Pollard in that backfield. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, that's explosive, because he's an explosive player. The only way they sign him, in my opinion, is they franchise him. But they're not going to sign him long term. They're just
What's
going
the
to
number
franchise
for
him for
that?
one
Yeah, you
year.
guys even looked into that? Yeah,
I
how
think
much
it's
is it?
like 9.1 million.
It's nothing though, honestly, for real. It's
Not
not
for
bad.
a running back.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just to talk about that right quick, George, when I was watching these players and they negotiate the franchise tag so long ago, I
Yeah.
see why they don't like it, because I just really studied it in my own head, not like really going deep in the numbers. But let's say they franchise him right at 9.1 million. I see why the players hate him. I mean, hate the franchise tag, because okay, yeah,
It's
you're
restricted. Yeah.
right. You're restricted. You're paying me in the top 5, right? That's great. But if I'm playing running back position and I'm sharing carries with Zeke, that's tearing my level down. I'm not going to get the contract I want.
And you have a
And
short
if I
shelf
get
life at
hurt,
running back. Yeah.
yeah, and if I get hurt, I'm ass out, because all I got is the 1-year deal money, and I ain't getting no more deals, because ain't nobody going to sign no hurt running back.
Franchise tag maybe works for like a quarterback or something like that, but like running back or offensive lineman, because it's very
Yeah.
like you get a lot of injuries that way too, is not a good look at all. Like I think we might potentially franchise Deron Payne, because he's like we want him, like we don't want to lose him, but he's going to probably be like one of the he has 11 and a half sacks as a defensive tackle, man. He's going to be
He's nice.
he's going to be a top 5 free agent in my, again, not even being biased. Like he's going to be a top 5 free agent on the market. So like we're going to try to re-sign him, but he would be smart to go explore his options. So I think Washington's going to tag him probably, especially you get rid of Wentz's money, then you have money to franchise Deron Payne. It's an easy switch right there. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and just to kind of expand on, because you said you was asking me about Kellen
Moore
Moore
and
and Dan
Quinn.
Quinn
Oh yeah.
being, are they going to be there next year? Because I do think Zeke is. Kellen Moore, I do. I don't think Kellen Moore is going nowhere. Yeah,
You don't
I
think a
heard
promotion or anywhere?
only where he would get a promotion, he'd be a head coach of Dallas Cowboys.
You think so? I mean, They won't let him go.
I said that when they hired him, they were trying to put him in waiting like they did Jason Garrett.
I can see
That's
that.
why that's why they
That
liked him
wouldn't be
so
a good
much.
look. I wouldn't like that. I think I like him. I think he's pretty damn smart, to be honest. I think he's one of the
I don't
more
want him as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
why is that a leader? Like is that like
Yeah, I don't think he
powerful in
is.
that regard? I guess I don't know.
I don't think he is.
Okay.
I
Okay.
like you as a coordinator, not as a head coach. Don't do
There are
that.
people that are like that. So there's some people that are
A
great
lot of people
offensively.
hate him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let him go, Antonio. I'm seeing that right
Hmm.
now. Yeah.
A lot of people are saying let
Yeah.
him go. He
Yeah.
don't bother me because here's the thing: they say Kellen Moore don't run the ball. We're like fifth. I don't know the new numbers because I didn't check, but I knew consistently we've been top 5 in rushing attempts. We have a top 10, top 5 rushing offense. You
Mhm.
had 2 running backs that could potentially still, really, if they turned up and go crazy in this Washington game, have 1,000 yards. Dallas has never had 2 running backs have 1,000 yards
It's
in no
rare.
season ever.
Yeah.
So when they're saying we don't run the ball, yes, they do. It's just the inopportune times or the running plays he's calling. But when you also, here's the thing though, George, that they don't look at, and this is just the truth. When you look at the offense, you're been shuffling the offensive line all season. Now you have Tyron Smith, who has been your left tackle for 10 years.
Forever. Yeah.
And now he's playing right tackle because of injuries, because Terrence Steele. You got
Mhm.
Jason Peters, who's now your 40-year-old, who maybe gets significant snaps. You don't know if you're going to play him at tackle or at guard. So you get what I'm saying? That incohesion has to do with guys missing their blocks, not hitting the hole. It affects the running game. So it's not just the running backs not doing their job or they're getting older. The offensive line has to be in cohesion and be able to run that ball. And if it's not in cohesion, they struggle. Just look at Tennessee. Tennessee is a good rushing defense. They have like the top 10, top
Yeah.
5. They're like
Great
number
defensive
2.
tackles. I forget his name now. Yeah, he's really
But
good.
he was out. Jeffrey Simmons was out.
Yeah, Jeffrey
They
Simmons. There you go.
they had a lot of guys that were out. But because you don't have the cohesion on that offensive line, they get the penetration and guys are getting stopped. We only average like 2 yards a carry. So that's
Mhm.
what has to be a factor to me. That's going to be a key factor in the game. Let's say we play Tampa Bay or anybody, that's going to be a key factor is our offensive line and our defensive line. We get Jonathan, we need beef up front to stop their run game, and Dallas needs to be able to run the ball to be
Mhm.
successful in the playoffs.
There
Period.
you go. Makes sense, man.
So we'll see. But dog, I really appreciate you jumping on here, man. I thank you. You know, I was like, man, I was looking like, hold up, we played at Washington. I gotta get my dog George on here because it was getting close to the end of the week. And
Yeah, man.
I was like, no, we got to do this. So I really appreciate you giving me all the intel. You love how you break down the intel, especially when you're talking about the Daniel Snyder situation. You gave me a lot of good stuff that I'm gonna like kind of read on my own because there's a lot of good nuggets and a lot of good tidbits about where they're headed. Because you guys are in our division, and like I said, in my opinion, you're my hated rival and you're my rival. So I always kind of want to
That's
know.
how I feel too, bro.
You know what I'm
100%,
saying?
man.
I
Yeah,
always
man.
want to know what's going on with what's going on with y'all, so I can kind of keep a buzz. Let me give a shout out to the $2 holler right
I
here
see that.
from DC for X for life, triple X. How about them Cowboys? $2 holler. Enjoy to listen to BGJ. We appreciate you out there in them streets. You know how we try to do, try to make it hot. But let everybody know your handle. You said you how you do your full court. Just I don't know it all, so just explain
I
everything.
got you, man.
Let
Of
everybody know
course.
where they can find you, big dog.
Of course. So first of all, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, James. If all the listeners on here, me and James had no prep at all, man. It's 100% freestyle. Just talking
Yeah,
it out. And
that's
that's how
how
you're
we do
supposed
it.
to do it, man. It's barbershop talk. Have a good time with football. I love it, man. So thank you for having me. So I work for Full Press Coverage, which is they do national, NBA, NFL, all that kind of stuff. So Full Press Coverage is my big brand, but I'm the Full Press Commander. So if you guys ever go on YouTube, definitely follow me. It doesn't cost you a damn thing. It'd really help me out a lot. I've been lucky. I've been getting field passes to the games a lot this year. So I might get some like on-field video of like Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. Like definitely check out the YouTube site.
Hell yeah.
Follow me on there. At Carmi21 is my Twitter handle. I'm also Full Press Commander Twitter handle too. This is my main. I'm on here all the time. I love talking football. Me and James are boys. Me and Philly Eagle fans are boys too. We're gonna be talking draft, all this stuff all year long, man. So we'll be around. So hit me up. I love talking shop. I'm not biased, so hit me up, man. I'm down to talk, man. So thank you, James.
Yeah, man. Because like I said, when we were doing our mock drafts this past season, and we had a good time. And me and Joe were just talking like we hit on a lot. I mean, I felt like we were kind of thorough with that, and we hit on some players this year, and I know you did too. So people really jump back in here when we get on that draft. George is going to be on here with, again, we're going to be doing the mock drafts again, and we're going to just be going through draft picks, who's going to potentially get drafted between our teams. So it's going to be a lot of good information that you guys are going to want, and really jump on it, because we're really going to go devil into it, break it down, and I think you guys are going to really like it. So as I said before, man, please go out there and support my dog George Carmi. I really appreciate it, because I got two guys. I'm still trying to find this New York guy. I thought it was going to be ruined, but I got to find a New York guy out here in these streets that I can bang and talk with, because I got two thoroughbreds in the street, and my dog George and my dog Joe, they go hard in the paint. They give thorough information. I love
We need a
listening to it.
Giants guy. We don't have a Giants guy.
Yeah,
You
we
gotta
need a
find one.
Giants guy out here, man, because it's only
Yeah.
right. You feel me? To get the whole the Voltron, get it going. You know what I'm saying? But like I
agree, bro.
said, man, please support these guys. They give real thorough, real information. Please go on that field and get that good camera work, because I'm definitely going to get it on there and show everybody what it's doing,
100%,
because
bro.
there's nothing like that when you can see it on the field, especially with a good camera. It's nothing like that. It's so much better than what you can do. So for myself, Big Game James, my dog George Carmi, we're going to be talking to you soon.